Congressman Hakeem Jeffries of New York is here. You've attended at least one of the briefings, I understand, in person, even one on the phone as well. You've said that you are still undecided, correct?
Absolutely. Well, this is a solemn moment of deliberation for all of us who have to make this decision as to whether to give authorization to the president to strike.
What more do you need to hear?
Well, we're working our way through several things, at least I am. First, it is clear to me that the Assad regime is responsible for launching chemical weapons against its own people in the suburbs of Damascus. Two, we know that's a violation of international law. Chemical weapons have only been used twice in the last 100 years, once by Iraq in 1980 and now by the Assad regime.
No. I mean, there are those who said the Assad regime has used chemical weapons close to a dozen times.
Well, absolutely. In terms of state actors who have deployed it against their people, this is one collective set of instances. But we know that there should be consequences, or at least I've come to that conclusion. But the question really is, for me, and what we have to figure out is the appropriate step right now a military strike, and will that lead to consequences that include further escalation and possible engagement in a conflict in the Middle East? And that is why I think many of us have been given pause by what the appropriate step is from this point forward.
To those who have said, including the Chief of Staff this morning on the Sunday shows, that not striking, that not enforcing the so-called red line would weaken not just the president, but would weaken America's position abroad, would weaken this country's credibility. What say you to that?
Well, the United States is still the most powerful military in the world, and we've got bad actors on both sides of this conflict. We've got Syria, the Assad regime, we've got their closest allies, Hezbollah and Iran. But on the other side, we've got al-Qaeda fighters, and we're not convinced.
You don't trust the rebels?
Well, we don't trust all of the rebels. Certainly there are some moderate rebel forces, but it's not clear to any of us, I believe, if the rebels were to prevail in the civil war, what would come next. We saw when the dictator collapsed in Egypt that though democracy was supposed to flourish, we actually found ourselves in a worse position, both in terms of the United States' interests and the interests of our allies in the region, including Israel. Among
your Democratic peers and among your peers in the Congressional Black Caucus as well, how worried are you that if the president doesn't get this vote, that he's so weakened that his domestic agenda suffers irreparably as well?
Well, I trust the president. I have great respect for him, and one of the reasons why I haven't taken a position is because we want to give him and the administration every opportunity to convince the American people, as well as members of Congress, beginning tomorrow with some additional classified briefings as to the administration's position and the wisdom of it. But I don't think that if Congress were to work its will and decide not to grant authorization, the president's domestic agenda will be weakened. One of the things that I'm hearing throughout the district is that people feel like we as a government should turn our attention inward after close to a dozen years of Middle Eastern wars and focus on the domestic problems that we have. And one could argue, if Congress were not to grant authorization, that part of the reason will be a mandate for us as Congress and the president to get involved in our domestic issues more significantly.
Democratic Congressman Hakeem Jeffries of New York. Congressman, thank you for your time, sir.
Thank you.